This is just a typical awesome place to hunt. When there's this much breakdown and erosion, who knows what was here beforehand. We got a lot of junk, a lot of erosion built up. We're here at low tide. There's a really old lighthouse. Here's another shot of all the rubble at this section of the bay. It's amazing how many bricks and cement and pieces of wood. And most of it gets washed up here, but it's also all part of what used to be this lighthouse section. And for the dozens of times I've been here, I've never actually witnessed the brick walkway to steps leading up to the lighthouse. That's never been uncovered before until today. Now I can see how they had a huge walkway, because there are just thousands of bricks around here. So that was part of it, and you can see all the rest of the bricks moving down. And that's where I'm going to go detect down there.
You'll be really excited.
He found a Spanish real.
But yeah. But he was in Clearwater.
Hello.
Hi.
What'd you find?
Now I'm videotaping this before I search in that clump. It was a high signal, which could be as high as a quarter. I'm in a very old section. I just pulled out an old brass lighter. I'm up against the banks. It's a really cool section where everything's coming down. And we're at low tide. I got that 86 signal in here. Oh, it's not a coin. It looks like it is the bottom of maybe some kind of light bulb. But brass comes up just as high as the high quarters do, and the silver quarters. Still pretty cool. I'm not really sure what it is. I don't think it's a light bulb bottom, but it's something from over there. Before it gets dark, I'm going to try to get the rest of this. I'm here videotaping the signal because after a really good high tide, we do have a cut on the beach that I go to all the time. And I know there's a lot of old stuff in this beach. And this was deep. There's a great signal in 85 on the Garrett AT Pro. And although that could just be something brass, it was coming up. That's not it. Oh, no, it's something big and brass. It's not a coin, but it is a something on top of a brass container. Now, it's a good sign, because I would have picked this up weeks ago. So we're at a different level. And that's why I came up on such a good signal, because it's big, round, and it's got the hole in the middle. Alright, it's old though. Here's another good signal that I just popped out of the hole. And it looks silver and round. I'm thinking it might even be just a battery, but this is supposed to be old territory. I'm gonna see what that is. Ah, wrecked. Yep, a washer. Looks good. Well, maybe I'm onto something. So once again, when you see a cut like this in the sand, and this isn't much of a cut, this is at most, some spots it's 6 to 8 inches, most anywhere between 2 and 4 inches. When you see that cut and you see this black sand starting to show up, that's an area that's been uncovered, hasn't seen the light of day in a long time. This is all the replenished sand that they brought out from the ocean. So there's a high probability there's some crazy artifacts stuck in this sand. And I was getting some old brass signals, picked up a couple junk brass pieces, but that's usually a sign that there's some good stuff mixed in. I just came on my first actual piece, and it is some kind of brass buckle, a copper buckle. I gotta clean it off when I get home, but it sure looks intact. It's got some kind of strange pin mechanism on the back, or loop, but it's brass, and I haven't seen one quite like this yet. So that's gonna be cool to get home. So what I'm doing here is just going to use a toothpick, which works really well on brass, to scrape off the sand and dirt without really messing up the brass at all. Or copper, whatever this belt buckle is made out of. I don't think it's a belt buckle. I think it's more of some kind of old snap. But I'm going to look it up after I clean it up to get a better identification on it. Because right now, I've seen a lot of snaps and clips like this. This one, I mean, not like this. I've seen a lot of them, not quite like this. So I think this one's a little different, might be a little older. There's definitely a lot of caked on sand. There's two lips right there. But it looks pretty intact. On the back end, we definitely have an extra piece here. Well, it's early in the morning, and we've been out here for about an hour already. And even though we had a really nice high tide, the wind's blowing in the right direction. It's a heavy wind, so I don't know if you can hear me much. But after an hour getting only one wheat penny, we came across a 48 signal. As you can see, sitting right on top. Or a letter B on it. This looks like this looks like it was holding a really big gem. That's something to take a look at. Let's get it home and figure it out. Trying to block the wind in this section, but I thought it would be a really cool area to videotape. Not even sure what these are. 6 or 7 or 8 of them. So they probably held up here at some point. Signal here now at the end of the hunt, finishing up this whole section of the day. I thought it was a silver quarter, not as a silver quarter, but I can see something out of it already. Got something else here coming out of the thing, so you see some grass on it. I'm not really sure what it is. No. So maybe one of the coolest finds yet, what looks like an ashtray. It says the USS Barton on it. There's definitely something written underneath, and without cleaning it up right now,
72.
72. It does appear like there is definitely, I don't know if that's a bird, an eagle, standing on a crest maybe. But Paul's going to bring that home and clean it up and then send me a picture of it cleaned up. Looks like an ashtray. But we're going to look up the USS Barton. All right, here's the wrap up of the day. We had a ton of junk brass and copper all mixed in here. I have no idea what this is. It's a huge piece of brass. Almost looks like it was the bottom of a broom with some really hard plastic coming out of the bottom. Well, it's not plastic, I don't know what you call it. It's fibrous. Big copper pipe. stainless steel broken spoon, another brass piece, lead weight, another brass piece, another pipe. This looks like it sometime almost reminds me of a radiator piece. But that's brass. That's either brass or copper. Some plumbing stuff. Big piece of round lead. And this enormous chunk of brass. I'm not really sure what it is. Has some kind of sliding mechanism, probably part of a heating unit or something. Now that's all going to go to recycling. And then for the good finds, we got this cool brass gear. Looks like it went to some kind of clock, but this one's pretty big. And a 1928 wheat penny. A little piece of a brass frame for something. And this lead tag, which says Bell System on the front, 5280. And then it has 25 to 28 in the back. That'd be really cool if that was the years, 1925 to 28. I know they stopped making lead tags a while ago, and this one is all lead. But I'm going to look that up and maybe see what that's to, some kind of telephone tag. And then finally, I didn't have to use my acid test on this one because it is a 14 karat gold ring imprinted on there somewhere. Yep, there's the 14K. 14 karat ring. See if I can turn it over and get it to really shine. There it is. It's either a B or a 6. But with every good fortune, there is some bad fortune. There was obviously some kind of stone on top of this thing, which is an odd design because of the B. But the prongs are there. There must have been some kind of big stone on that. I'm not sure what it would have been. And that was the week, pretty much in a wrap-up.